Bruce Dickinson just made a statement about Iron Maiden's lineup, and it is exactly what the Iron Maiden fans needed to hear. Despite most Iron Maiden fans referring to the post-2000 Maiden formation as the band's new era, its six-piece lineup, introduced in 1999 with the return of the vocalist Bruce Dickinson and the legendary guitarist Adrian Smith, has actually been the longest-running lineup the band has ever had. By far! No, seriously, since the band was formed in 1975, there hasn't been a year without a change in members until 1982. And even the band's golden era that we all usually refer to has actually only lasted for about 7.5 years. So not that much longer than the Blaze Bayley one.
Yeah, unbelievable.
And just for the reference, and with the sole purpose of trying to make you feel old, the new Iron Maiden era has actually started 25 years ago. So it means that it's lasted for more than half the time Iron Maiden have been around as a band. But anyways, in a recent interview with Stereogum, when asked about the secret of longevity of Iron Maiden's current formation compared to their earlier lineups, Bruce Dickinson had the best possible response, which completely shuts down all of the fan conspiracy theories and online talks about Iron Maiden members actually hating on each other, which have been going around for years now. Somewhat proven that if Bruce Dickinson and Adrian Smith would not have left Iron Maiden 30-something years ago, most likely there simply would not be Iron Maiden right now. I think we've all grown up just enough to appreciate that we were all separate individuals who got together to play Iron Maiden music. I think what pissed Adrian off, and me to a certain extent, was the idea that we were just this homogeneous blob that was Iron Maiden, that we were a single block of concrete. Adrian rebelled against that. I didn't particularly like the idea either, because it was like, are we not individuals then? And the reason we've rejoined is because we wanted to, so it's choice, and it was actually our choice. And now, having done that, let's have more adult relationships between everybody. It became a lot easier to get on with everybody, a lot easier to speak more honestly and open about things, and also not to get bent out of shape about things, about somebody has a bad day or somebody's turned into a megalomaniac this afternoon. Just walk away, because tomorrow morning they won't be like that. Whereas back in the 80s, we'd have had an argument about it, or people would have gone away and sulked about it for weeks. And this, at a first glance, somewhat obvious statement actually tells us much more about the future of Iron Maiden than it meets the eye.
We are blood brothers!
Last year, after the Fuge Past tour has begun, we all noticed a slight change in the boys' behavior on stage, and especially that of Bruce Dickinson, who suddenly seemed to enjoy himself much more so than he ever did, soaking in every moment spent with his bandmates and the fans. And that's when we spoke about how many Iron Maiden fans felt like as the more time has passed by after his and Adrian's return, the more he made peace with it, finally started appreciating the whole fact that despite him of course being an expert in so many other fields, the thing that at least partially defines him, and the thing which so many people around the world simply love him for, is in fact Iron Maiden. And he simply embraced it. Although before it looks like he's never been satisfied with just simply being defined as a frontman of one band. And the same goes for the other guys at Iron Maiden, who in the past several years did the unimaginable for either of them in the 1980s, started their own bands or side projects, and instead of having any kind of conflict, which would have definitely arose back then, their bandmates and the band's management only supports them with this. And this has made Iron Maiden today stronger than ever. And this is what gives us, fans, hope that despite their respectable age and all the health issues, the boys might still be far from hanging their instruments, because as weird as it may sound, but it looks like they are actually enjoying themselves much more so today than they did back in their golden years.
Every night we play this song. This is the best fucking night of our lives. So don't spend your time worrying about those wasted years.
And what is most important, it looks like Bruce's and Nick's recent health problems only made them realize that even more. We're in the state now where the band's really successful and we all get on. Probably because, with the exception of Dave Murray and Adrian Smith, who lived in the same street together when they were growing up, none of us would ever have met each other if it wasn't for Iron Maiden. I would never have met Nico McBrain. I would never have met Steve. What brings us all together is Maiden. So this is a great place to be. We're probably one of the biggest heavy metal bands in the world. We mean a huge amount, and I do understand that, to millions of people around the world. And what's not to love about still being able to do it?
Coast to coast, across the 7 seas.
So yes, at least to me, this one statement has actually said more about the atmosphere in the band and about the band's future plans than a million PR articles would. Leaving the band 30 years ago was the guys' way of searching for their purpose in life, similar to a teenager's journey for self-identification, which may sometimes be painful for many around them. But at the same time, just as it was for their countrymates Judas Priest, this departure was necessary for Iron Maiden, as it helped all of the boys to not only prove themselves and the world that they all can achieve something without each other, but also understand quite the opposite, that it is this band that has brought them together, and despite them of course being extremely talented on their own, it is Iron Maiden that has made them who they are today and gave them much more than just a career. It has given them a loyal family counting millions of members around the world. And just as it is with a teenager on his quest for self-identification, when one finally understands this, he truly starts cherishing it and does everything in his strength to hold on to it for as long as he lives. And we'll of course know that next year Iron Maiden will be celebrating their 50th anniversary. And knowing what Bruce and some other band members said in their recent interviews, it looks like the band and the management is actually working on a rather big surprise for all of the Iron Maiden worldwide family. And of course I think that the guys have spoken about retirement already, and the message Bruce left on the Mandrake project is just a proof for that. But to me, these latest remarks by all of them indicate that they have agreed to go on for as long as they physically can. And even Nico McBrain's recent heart attack hasn't stopped them from touring, which means that instead of a final curtain next year, as many believed, we will instead see the beginning of yet another chapter of Iron Maiden. And yes, it may be the final chapter of the book, who knows? Yet as long as Iron Maiden members still feel like they are a part of a family, there will still be stories told. And I simply cannot wait to see which next chapter the band has prepared for all of us. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys, and will prevail. Slava Ukraini!